Okay, so Paco, you like working with the slate?
I love it.
It's slow, but it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess when you first start cutting it, well, I was a little nervous when I started cutting it because I was afraid it was going to split. But it worked. The cutter works pretty good.
Oh yeah.
So Paco, do you have a piece of the trim that's routed out?
Yeah, no.
You don't have a scrap piece? So what we're doing under the windows is, you can notice the trim is left off. We're actually notching out the bottom of the trim to cover the screws. That's a neat detail we came up with. And there's some places where you have to have, well, you don't have to, but you're going to have exposed screws. But what we'll do is clean that and take some kind of something, either a little, I don't know, concrete patch or something, or maybe a gray caulk, depending on what looks good, and cover that. But those are the only strange places you have. Pretty much everywhere else we've been able to conceal the screws. So this wall is complete. We got to go back and touch up the paint around the windows and the other trim, because during the process you'll get nicks and scratches. But it looks pretty good. We're using a lap here where we cut a third first and then start each row. Then we stagger that, and then it comes back. That looks a lot better than just lining up the joints every other row. Now you've got every third row, so it's a little, a little more in keeping with the rustic style. It's a little more formal to line up the joints, every other row. The slate's about $6 a square foot. I'll have to check that, but we bought it from Vermont Slate company, and it has a pretty good bit of waste, we have found out. I ordered 1,800 square feet, and I did not take out for the windows. So that should have been, and that included their waste factor. But we had to order another 800 square feet, another 8 squares. I was a little disappointed with that. That makes it more expensive, by the time it's all said and done. The finished square foot cost, maybe $9 or $10 a square foot by the time you consider all the waste. But it's hard to deny the beauty that it affords or provides a home. It's just very, very elegant and rustic at the same time. I'm sure there's an architectural style for that. Maybe it's hipster, I don't know. But it's just very nice. The only other factor you have to take into account is labor is expensive. It takes us probably 3 times as long to install this siding as another typical siding that we use in modern construction on residential. The other thing we were dealing with was fractures in the slate. That accounted for, I don't know, maybe 3% of our waste. We would be picking out slate from the pallet, and you would notice these fractures, and you could just barely put force on it, and it would break. Now it is a natural material, so you will have to expect some of that, and just assume when they tell you, it's X amount of dollars per square foot, you can probably add about 50% to that for the material cost. And I'm talking about finished square foot cost. So if that wall was two squares, and it might take 4 squares of slate just to get it done, So there's a difference in the cost per square foot that you buy and the finished cost of the material. We're gonna have stone here, so that'll look nice. You can see our metal roof is complete. And in one of my shorter vlogs, you can go back and see how the snow was piled up on the metal roof and we had no leaks. So our flashing systems work very well. We have just a few more pieces of trim on the front here at the bottom on the windows, and the stone, and this will be wrapped up, ready for touch-up. And then we're gonna start grading out here to try to start shaping the yard. So stay tuned. Nice.